Yeah.
I repeat that we are recording. So welcome to Hotspur Way, Season 2, Episode 7. Now, we've got a great question in. Josh, do you want to read it out to Ben? Because it is for Ben. Ben Bowman, you're here. Hi, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, very good, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
it was
oh, sorry, you're still talking. Carry on.
it's fine. You go on. Crack on.
Oh, is it the Thomas Party one?
It is that one.
Thomas Party whispers...
Well, 1 minute.
Worry.
Who's it from? You gotta, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Question 1 from George at Don't Follow 1882. You know, the usual guy. Thomas Party whispers, "Don't worry, I'm not going to do anything this time before continuing."
Oh.
Is the whole thing the question? I should. Fucking hell! This running order is just a single question.
Here, Josh.
Okay, here we go. I shouldn't tell you this, but there is some voodoo shit. If you allow a teammate of mine to penetrate your ass, we will 100% lose on Sunday. Who is doing you up the bum and why?
Great question. I feel like we sort of said it, but I think Saka's kind of the safe option. Although, I'm trying to think of someone a bit, who's not going to like ruin you in that team, and also someone who's not going to enjoy it, because I feel like you're not going to enjoy it. You don't want them to really enjoy it and get any sat. Actually, then again, I wouldn't really mind if it meant that we definitely won.
It rules Saliba out then. If you don't want them to enjoy it, that rules Saliba out, doesn't it?
Yeah, good point. He'd probably start filming it.
Yeah.
Snapchat famous.
Yeah. I reckon someone like. Jorginho wouldn't be a bad shout because I feel like he'd be quite. I don't think he'd be that rough,
Before he penetrates, he'll do that little hop and skip.
Yeah, exactly. And then just put it straight in.
I reckon he'd be quite sensual with it.
Yeah,
he's Italian as well, isn't he? So he's definitely done it before.
Yeah,
and Brazilian, isn't he?
Yeah. Did you see the documentary on Amazon about it was footballers and their wives, and it was him and his wife who was like a little bit mental, and I think he just sort of couldn't really be arsed with her. So I'm not sure he's like the romantic type. I feel like he'd sort of just get it over and done with, and then you'd just be like, all right, and move on.
Should we continue with Netflix now, shall we?
Yeah, yeah. Just put the telly on. Someone mentioned Zinchenko before, who'd probably just start crying through it.
That was I.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good shout. He's just a bit of a rat, isn't he?
He is.
But I'd say Jorginho. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that. I don't think it'd be too rough. I don't think he'd really enjoy it that much. And like you said, he'd do the little hop, skip, and a jump before he actually puts it in your bum. So I'd probably let him do it if him. Anything for a North London derby win.
Everything is on the table.
Yeah, let them do it again.
Keep going. We'll go all night.
Yeah.
You'll be limping down the Seven Sisters High Road.
Yeah.
What if each shag meant they lose a game in the season, and so then you have to do like the whole squad throughout the year to make sure?
Yeah. Would you do 30? Yeah. Or how many's left? 35 games. Would you do 35?
Oh.
Do it 35 times?
It would guarantee them relegation as well.
It would go down. Yeah.
Have a full train run.
Yeah.
You mean you'd have to let Party have a go as well?
Yeah,
wouldn't
exactly. It's got to be one member of the squad each week.
Surely you'd let the bigger boys go first, loosen you up, and then you wouldn't feel it by the end of the season, would you?
Yeah, good point. You know how you said like this question was from that George guy. Is George kind of a guy that always sort of sends in these type of questions?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's been on here like from the beginning, just sending us questions about fish fingers. He's been trying to get us sponsored by Birdseye, and it's not happened so far, which is a bit of
I do remember a bit of fish finger chat when I was on last time, but I can't actually remember the context.
So he's stuffing up an orifice somewhere.
Yeah. I feel like Hannah would probably be the best person to enlighten me on what that actually would be.
She normally is, and then she normally just goes straight into it, and
yeah, respect.
Right, I think that first of all, look, we're on or ending the international break. Ben, how have you found it? As boring as us? I mean, you do this as a job now, so maybe not.
Yeah, do you know what? Because I went into the international break thinking that, again, obviously with Spurs, I don't think we've been anywhere near as bad as kind of people have sort of made out. But I felt like going into the international break, it kind of was nice to have a bit of a break even this early on in the season. So I was kind of looking forward to it from that aspect. But I wasn't overly enamoured about watching England. But then again, I was quite positive about Carsley kind of being given the opportunity. And when kind of Saturday rolled around, I was actually because the game had a bit of edge to it and it was Ireland, I was like, okay, well, I'll watch this. And it was quite entertaining. And then I watched last night, which wasn't exactly in the same ballpark in terms of being entertaining, but I found it actually all right, and I feel a bit more re-energized now after it. I felt like we actually did need that bit of a break early on into the season, because I felt like things have been bubbling over a little bit on here. When I say on here, I don't mean on this podcast, obviously, but like generally in terms of the Spurs fan base, it's kind of just like, right, let's just forget about this for 2 weeks. And we'll come back to it. Unfortunately, we're coming back to a North London derby, but then again, the kind of the circumstances that have happened over the break have meant that we're kind of probably going into it with that bit more energy than maybe we thought we were. So I think I've quite enjoyed it, but more from the point of view of enjoying the break. But I have actually quite enjoyed England. I'll be honest.
All right, cool. I think that Carsley has done all right.
Given the job now.
I don't know. I think he's on trial, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's got 6 games apparently, isn't he? He had the first, like those 6. I don't know whether it was Nations League games or whatever, but I'll give it to him now.
Well, couldn't I don't know, Josh, James, did you see the game? Did you watch the games?
Which one?
All of it.
So Ireland and Finland. Finland were awful, by the way. Goodness me.
I did watch both, and I can't lie, the Ireland game is probably the first time I ever wanted an Arsenal player to score for England. I really wanted Rice to score so much, and I was really disappointed he didn't celebrate. But I'm so happy Jack Grealish did.
Yeah, that was great, wasn't it? It was also so Arsenal that Rice did. Like, I know he came out after the game, and it was like he sort of said about his grandparents that had passed away and stuff, and they were Irish. I was like, yeah, fair enough, but like, you knew he wasn't gonna, and like the fact that he sort of dropped the like respect kind of thing of like, I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry when he scored. It's just like, oh, come on mate, just if you're not gonna celebrate, don't do that. Just don't do anything. Like
if it meant that much to you, you wouldn't have changed allegiance, would you? You would have stayed.
Great point. Yeah, someone should have put that.
That's the thing.
But yeah, I mean,
football's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then international, it's just it is woke, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I will tell you, the best thing about this international break is Barclays, man. That hashtag.
Oh my god, yeah.
I have loved my timeline so much the last few days.
Yeah.
That Juan Pablo Angel one, that hit me.
I've got a question. Didn't we start that?
We didn't. I wouldn't say we started it. We did talk about it. Me and James were just like reminiscing random players.
Well, you are allowed to lie.
We formed the snowball, I think.
Yeah, okay, we manifested it. We manifested
we formed it.
In the Sahara, yeah.
Cult pod, yeah.
Yeah. But there's loads. I'm really disappointed. There wasn't a Milan Baros one or a Jefferson Montero one, though. I'm quite sad about that.
Who do you think is I saw Billy T did a tweet about this, and I think he did a poll. Who do you think is Tottenham's biggest Barclaysman?
Wasn't top like Lennon or Pavlyuchenko?
Yeah, I think it was.
I reckon Mido's up there. Mido didn't even get a shout.
Yeah,
that loan period with us was incredible.
I remember that goal against West Ham where he sort of like he chipped it up on the and then like volleyed it in from a really tight angle. It was the game where Defoe bit Mascherano, because it's like because like Defoe and Keane are like, they're too good to be Barclays men, even though like Robbie Keane, because the amount of teams that he played for during that era and stuff. Robbie Keane is a Barclays man, but I think he's too good to be one. If that makes
I know
sense.
what you mean. You have to be quite shit as well, don't you? You can't.
That's why Pavlyuchenko's great, because it's like,
yeah,
I don't feel like you could look at Pavlyuchenko's goal catalogue and think, fuck me, like what a striker.
That free kick against Ruben Kazan was
one of the best free kicks I've ever seen at Spurs. But he was like also like infuriating sometimes, Pavlyuchenko. Like, and I think he kind of got away with it because that was kind of in an era where we had like kind of take me back to this era where like teams would just have like 4 good strikers and sort of rotate them. Like we had that era would have been like Crouch,
Van der Vaart sort of played around it, didn't he? Yeah.
And it was like he sort of got away with it because he could sort of pop up with a goal and stuff off the bench. But like if you had to start Pavlyuchenko up front every game over the course of a season, I don't think he'd quite have the same like legacy almost that he does.
It was when he scored that winner against Liverpool as well. Was it like the 93rd minute or something?
Yeah, under Redknapp, wasn't it? That was great.
Yeah, and then there was obviously the bangers again. Who was it? He sent
But-
Birmingham down,
Birmingham,
didn't he? He sent them down. Just
I remember
two
I remember
cunt stompers.
they were so good as well. Like I remember there was like that game. I remember Craig Gardner scored for Birmingham in that game. He's a good Barclays man. He scored like this
yes.
really good
Barclays.
left-footed strike bottom corner, and I remember I used to sit in the Paxton, so I remember watching there. I would have been quite. I don't know how old I would have been. Probably like what year was that? 2011. I would have been up 12, 13. I just remember watching their fans go. There's something weirdly like. I know it's bad because it's against your own team, but seeing an away section erupt like that, going mental, was like wow. And then Pavlyuchenko was like, nah, fuck that, and just rattled one in off the bar like at the other end. I think it was in
down
the
you
last
go.
minute as well. Yeah, see you later.
Enjoy the championship, lads.
Yeah.
It wasn't a championship then, was it? Was it that championship
No.
back then, or was it Division 1?
Was it
No, it would have
anyhow?
been it would have been championship. That was like 2011, I think. Like maybe the Coca-Cola Championship.
Well, can I tell you who a definite Division 1 player was? You lot won't remember him. Rebrov. He wasn't
Sergej
Barclays. He wasn't Premiership. He was. Did you guys ever see him play?
Was he like an original Vincent Janssen, basically?
No, he was worse. And the worst thing about this
Fucking hell.
was because so in late 90s you had what's the Ukrainian side? Was it, I can't remember which one it was. It was him and Shevchenko playing up front.
Dynamo Kiev, was it?
Dynamo
them, or was
Kiev,
it-
yeah. I think so. And they had the deadliest partnership, or one of, in Europe. And we
chose him over Shevchenko.
Yeah, he's a better manager than he was a player.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
I
you
think
say
it was
like
a bit
it's
before
tall
my
order.
Rebrov was a bit before my time, but I remember my first Spurs game was 2004, and I remember the season after my first game, like 05, 06 would have been when we signed Raziak.
Oh my god,
and
the
he
Polish
was
guy.
fucking terrible. Like,
Then we sent him to Saints.
yeah, we did, didn't it? Did he do all right there? I feel like he didn't do that badly.
I think he was like a cult hero for them.
Yeah, a Barclays or maybe.
Do you remember
not
Timothy Atuba?
Barclays. Oh, that goal against Newcastle, yeah, unreal.
That's about
we
all I
got-
remember of him.
We've got
Who else? Oh, who was that? Ivory Coast player we had. Zakora.
Oh, I love yeah. I
Did
never
you just
forget-
say you loved him? Is that what you
No,
were
I was
about
going
to
to
say?
that the last in memory is the League Cup final where we ran through on goal, and did he have a rebound that he then just spanked over the bar?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was
The
Hossam
worst.
Ghali.
Oh, well, let's just talk,
Hossam Ghali.
before we get onto Hossam Ghali and reminisce down memory lane. Right, do you guys remember Gabriel Marcotti?
No, I've never even heard of that name.
Right, so Gabriel Marcotti, he was doing the Times football podcast. He was working for the Times. He's an Italian with an American accent, and he was really good at his football stuff. Not as good as you, Ben, obviously, but he was really good. And he said,
Ben, let me lick your balls.
if he was close enough, I might. But he when he heard that we were in for Zakora, he was on TalkSport as well, and it's 2006, I think. He then went into this hour-long show. I'll never forget it. I was actually I remember I moved into a new apartment and I was doing the hoovering, and it was on full blast. It was for a whole hour, and I remember it because I was doing the hoovering for a whole hour, so I could just listen to it. Not that there's a
Must
reason
have
for
a
that.
quiet Hoover.
Yeah, so he then went on for a whole hour and how this guy could turn us into a title league winning side.
Oh god.
And then he sort of fell off the earth. So I don't know where Gabriel Marcotti is now.
I've just googled him. He actually does look familiar. I feel like I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, I'm sure if you listen to his
Picture his
voice, you'll
face.
know who he is, yeah.
Screams
say
like
that-
pure ESPN vibes.
Oh, I think he's at ESPN now, isn't he? If
Oh.
I'm not mistaken.
Oh, he
Am I
is.
wrong?
Well,
yeah.
you say that about
Oh, he does
Zakora.
that.
I remember when we signed Paulinho, and everyone was saying, well, pundits were saying, we've made the better deal out of Paulinho and Man City signing Fernandinho, and that just went down the fucking toilet, didn't it?
I actually made my
There was
own
that one
Barclays
Confederations
clip.
Cup tournament.
Yeah, 2013, wasn't it? I actually made my own
Yeah.
Barclaysman clip of Paulinho and put it on Twitter the other day, and it was just him, that shot of him, the shot he had against Burnley that he toe poked wide, just on repeat for about 25 seconds.
Iconic.
The one that didn't even go towards the goal, it literally went
Yeah,
the other way.
and it just cuts back to like the fans in the crowd. Some guy at some point with just his hands on his head. It's just yeah, he was a waste of money. I just realised that guy is the he does the Gab and Jules show on ESPN. I remember Ben Davis did like an episode of like. Do you remember there was that Ben Davis podcast that went round a few months ago where he said some like really good things about Spurs and that was him.
Oh, was it him?
And Julian Laurent. Yeah, I do know who you're talking about.
Yeah. All right, so we've got the North London derby coming up Sunday. 1:30 in the UK, 3:30 Cyprus, 4 in the morning in America somewhere. Ben, over to you, mate. What do you? So I've actually got a few questions, right? So we're going to do a last word on Spurs thing here, where we ask you 50 questions all in one. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
So the first one is, if we do lose, is it as bad as what Twitter will make out it is?
No, I was thinking about this earlier. I think not that you should always go into it with this kind of attitude, but I know they've got players missing, and I know that like someone tweeted out, it's like you're not a Spurs fan if you don't think if the Odegaard injury and Rice's suspension kind of hasn't made you more anxious because it means the kind of pressure is more on us. But they're still through gritted teeth, they're still a very good team without both of those players. But it does put that bit of pressure onto us. But it's not gonna. I think it's just where it's this early on in the season. It's just another North London derby, this one, I think. I think it'll be like, if Tottenham win it, I don't think that's the case, obviously, and you can always twist the narrative to kind of suit what actually happens in the game. Like, it's massive for Spurs if we do win it, because I think it puts to bed some of the doubts, but regardless of how we play as well, because again, there's been a lot of kind of like nitpicking about Ange and all this kind of stuff, and I do think whatever happens on Sunday, if we win, that will just shut us up for a bit, regardless of the level of performance. But if we lose, they've still got, even without those two players, they're still very much capable of beating us. It's not going to be easy, and you know exactly what Arteta's going to try and kind of get into them in terms of like, try and make them even harder to beat. As a result of that, they'll become even more sort of solid. So it's going to be really tough. And I don't think, like I said, I kind of just think that going into this, I'm kind of just thinking it's just another North London derby, and if we lose, I think as long as we don't give silly goals away like we did last year, and if we just lose because they were slightly better than us and we couldn't win, I can take that. It's just going to be one of those things where it's tough, because I was having this conversation with my old man earlier. Like, if we lose, we'll be 4 points from 4, and people will panic. But that won't make. I think I'll still be quite calm off the back of that. So I'm not. I don't think it defines this season in any way. I think it's kind of just another North London derby. Although it's always big, but
I think we're gonna do what Thomas Partey's gonna do to your behind to them.
Yeah,
I really believe. Yeah, I do. I think we'll take a run up, and in we go. We'll go for seconds and thirds. I've got a feeling that. I mean, we'll go into predictions. I don't know if you do predictions, mate, but we'll ask you for them later.
I'll do some predictions.
Yeah, I've just got a good feeling about this one. The Newcastle game is what it was, and none of us on here, I mean, we're called Happy Clappers as well. We're part of the Happy Clappers FC. All of us are, right?
I'm in a safe space.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really sick and tired of these. I mean, personally, I think that. Anyway, I won't go into my conspiracy theory. I'll do it on another pod. But look, I just I don't get the stuff that they're saying about Ange. I understand that he's the face of the club and that he's the only one they can target stuff at. I get it, but I don't understand what games they're watching and what we're watching.
Yeah,
it's a bit strange. But in this game here, first of all, we know that Rice is definitely out. Is Odegaard out, or we're not sure? We'll probably find out. Oh, he's definitely out.
I think they're saying like worst case scenario, it's like 3 weeks. Best
Minimum.
case scenario for them, it's like 3 weeks. Worst case is like months. They're saying so. I think he's definitely out, and they've got Man City next week as well, so he's out of that.
Ooh. Okay, I didn't realise that. I thought they were going to pull a fast one.
Well, they might put in some fake COVID tests.
Yeah, get the game called off again. But God forbid you mention that, though. Fucking, I didn't last time, did it?
The thing is, though, when they did that, our team wasn't even full strength at the time either. But when the game come back round, we had our full 11 was back.
Yeah. That was the beautiful thing about that. It just completely backfired on them. Like, that was the sweetest way that season could have ended. Just because it was just like, you basically asked for this, and then he's just been spanked 3-0 and got a man sent off, and then lost to Newcastle and bottled top four. Like, it couldn't have gone any worse for them. But that,
it was the season they had Amazon filming them as well, wasn't it?
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
I always remember in
that was
the
such a good
Amazon
episode.
documentary they kind of like but I feel like they sort of almost like glossed over it a bit.
Yeah, of
didn't
course
they?
they
I
did.
feel
They
like
had to.
did.
Yeah.
It was like odd one they skipped over like the first few months when Poch got the sack.
Yeah,
They just want to get to Mourinho TV, didn't they? That's all they wanted.
Yeah, I used to work with someone that in my last job, someone who I used to work with who used to work at Amazon, and I think she worked there when that was going on, and she was saying that Poch just refused to sort of do it basically, so they almost like had to start it when Mourinho came in because Poch didn't allow any of the cameras in his office or anything like that. So I think they sort of almost like had to, but it did make it a bit shit.
Yeah, I mean, there was bits about cardigans, wasn't there? Do you remember that? It's like, oh, you got a new cardigan, or remember they were out to that event, and Levy was like, oh, you got a new top or something. It was so, you could see it wasn't supposed to be. Look, I think that the thing that happened when they lost 3-0 at ours sums up Arteta. It sums up him to a T, them capitulating against Newcastle. I think that he's got a tragic instance of copy and paste merchant. He's unoriginal. I really believe that he's unoriginal. Just watching that All or Nothing thing about him, you can see he's unoriginal. I think he's a nice guy, but he's just completely unoriginal. He's not his own man.
Did you say he's a nice guy?
Well, I think he's all right.
Did you see what he said about Thomas Partey? He's like, there was one interview. There's that thing he said.
He's got to stick up for his own mate.
But the way he said it, is the way he goes after everything he's been through.
Yeah, that was fucked.
He knows what's happened. Yeah, there was. I can't remember what it was. It was after a game. Thomas Partey, I think he scored or something. And then because obviously everyone knows what Partey's done allegedly, so to speak. But Arteta, he was asked a question about him, and then he said after everything that he's been through, he's really happy for him. And everything. You just think, were they really the words to use?
Yeah.
But maybe you just read that off the net, though. That's the thing. He's not original, And I've got a feeling that they are going to come a bit unstuck this season. I know everyone's saying they're going to be top 2. I just don't see it.
I do as well. I think Liverpool are really dangerous, and I think that could almost blindside Liverpool. It's going to be hard for them because they also look really good right now, and their Champions League. I think their Champions League fixtures are really difficult. Liverpool, but I think they could almost blindside Arsenal a bit. And if City do get the ban or deduction or what else, points deduction, or whatever, or get relegated somehow, then I think Liverpool are in a quite a good place. So I was thinking this earlier. There's something that doesn't feel quite the same about them. They were like, I saw Arsenal fans bitching and moaning the other day about when Odegaard got injured, about like, oh, it's just like, how does this keep happening? It's like, you had one senior player basically injured last season. That was Timber, who'd never kicked a ball for you before that. I feel like these things are almost like the chickens are kind of coming home to roost a little bit with Arsenal, I feel. And I don't see them as, famous last words, but I don't see them as quite as dangerous as last year. And City, if they don't get points deduction, the way they've been over the first 3 games, and bear in mind Guardiola's kind of come out with this attitude of like, yeah, the season starts in September rather than the first 3 games in August, where we've literally battered every team we've played, and Haaland scored about 700 goals in the first 3 games. They will take, and again, like I said earlier, like this is a massive week for Arsenal because coming to us a little bit more fragile without those players, and then they've got a Champions League game on a Thursday against Atalanta, and then they go to Man City on Sunday. So if they're going to City without Odegaard as well, obviously Rice will be back. It is a massive, massive week for them.
It is, right? And the thing is, when you've got someone who is unoriginal, he can't keep chiming out the same bullshit because he hasn't got anything in him to then spearhead that team forward. They've heard it all before 1,000 times. Yeah. They've got Win the Dog. They've got all of this shit going on there. They're bored of it. They listen to him because he's there, and if it's not my way, it's the highway, basically. Yeah. But there's nothing there. I really believe is Vaxinus. There's nothing there to him, and
it's
so
a bit like David Brent, I think. When David Brent's reading off when he's introducing himself to like the new staff when they merge the branches, where he's like reading off the jokes.
Yeah,
it's kind of. I think he's a bit like that.
Am I allowed to say Tapas Brent? Right, that's what he is. He's just and I just like, I'm a little older than all of you. Sorry, get that in there. But I've seen this all the time, right? I've seen it so many times when you've got bosses who come in. It's like, I'm here. They don't ever say that I'm the best, but I'm going to make you the best. And if you believe in me, and it's always about them, he does come across as that kind of person. And there comes a point where you just go, fuck off. We've heard this all before. And then you stop playing and you stop performing for that person. And that's what he is. And that's why I believe this season, I've got a feeling we're going to see a drop-off from them. They'll get in the top four. They're good enough, right? At the end of the day, they've got good enough players. But to challenge City, no, I don't think so. I believe Liverpool will push them a lot.
I don't know.
Really?
I think, we've all seen the light bulb speech. I mean, I stood up and gave it a round of applause for an hour. I could be more inspired. I think you could pull out something from the bag, maybe like a duvet cover or street lamps. I reckon he's got something in the bag. But no, he is an odd bloke, isn't he? Like, he's the one where as soon as he opens his mouth, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's just stop. And I get the point. I think they will get bored of him. And maybe it's a little bit of what happened to Poch, where, people just get tired of it. And there's only so much you can do under a manager where they haven't had that success. If you do keep missing out, how much can you really put your 100% into everything that you're doing?
Yeah, but go on, mate. Go on.
I was going to say, even a bit like, it sort of happened to a lesser extent with Klopp as well, right? Like, there must be a point where, especially of how intense that is, eventually people do, I don't think it was never as drastic at Liverpool as it was with, obviously, like with us with Poch, but players, you do, when you're hearing that same voice and those same, like you said, unauthentic, kind of unoriginal methods and cliches kind of bombarded at you all the time about Thomas Edison inventing the fucking light bulb and all that, you do naturally, switch off. You must do.
You do, but that there's a way around it, and Ange, I think, has got it down to a T. So did Sir Alex Ferguson. Is that like...
he's not listening, don't worry.
Okay, but the same...
No haggis merchants around here.
So if there's anyone old enough here who leads teams, be it in football or office or wherever it is, what you have to do is you will always have the 10 to 15% who will run through bullets for you, who will take a bullet for you, should I say, and then the rest of them should know that you'll do it for them. But then you've got 85% of them who you can start to clear out and then bring in new guys in. And you have to do this. And then you have to change your methods and bring in one really big character and then others who are a bit more sheepish. You just have to keep doing this, whether you're in an office environment or wherever you are. It's what you have to do. And Ange brings in new coaching staff all the time. There's a reason why he doesn't take his coaching staff with him, because there's new things happening all the time, new exciting things happening. So Alex Ferguson used to do the same thing. So there is a way around it. And if you notice, like Liverpool, they sort of, I don't know if they're in any financial issues right now, but they're not rebuilding. I worry for them next year if they don't spend, which is good. But we went through the same thing in 2018 by not signing anyone. And there comes a point where you just go, I've heard this all before. I've heard it from his coaching staff, Tony and the rest of them. It's just they're saying the same thing to us and it's not working. We need something different. So
yeah. I was going to say the same point on Ange, like bringing in the two coaches this season. I think one of them was actually a full head coach prior and assistant as well. And you do need those fresh voices. And I think it has worked, at least in a defensive set piece situation. We do look a lot more organised and controlling situations rather than just ourselves get bent over. That was the one thing I wanted to say, really. And I completely forgot what you said for the second half of that. You're yapping a bit.
It's fine, mate.
Had another point. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just got this feeling that we're gonna whoop them. Right, I'll tell you what we can do. I know it's been done to death. Let's not go through this which players we would have of theirs. Fighting Cock did it, and loads of others are doing it. I think that's a bit boring. What else can we do? Let's do this one.
Which ones would you let have a go on your missus?
Saka, definitely.
Probably. If it had to be one.
Yeah. I mean, he would be that one. I was hoping he'd get injured yesterday, but he didn't.
Yeah, when you saw him get substituted, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
annoying, wasn't it? But
What about Havertz? He's a bit of a weasel, isn't he?
He's a freak.
yeah.
Remember when he
he's
asked
a
to get
rat
substituted because Romero's literally bullying him when he was at Chelsea?
Really?
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
it was the 2-2 when Romero pulled Cucurella's hair. That same game, literally, Havertz tried to did something to Romero, and then obviously once you do that, Romero will get you. And then Romero literally just went in to him like 3 times, and Havertz requested to be substituted. He was not having it.
That's embarrassing. So if we had to
Hopefully he
choose
takes up the arse.
if we're going to choose who comes off the bench to make a change, Ben, who do you think for Spurs comes off the bench? And James, who do you think comes off the bench for Arsenal?
What do you mean? What to like? So if the game's on Sunday, who's going to make a difference on Sunday?
Yeah, so it's a rip-roaring game. We're both going out. It's a basketball game, but it's 0-0. What do we do? What does Ange do? Who's on the bench that's going to come on?
I think he turns to. There's only one person I think he turns to, and do you know what? I was thinking about this the other day. There's not one person, because I don't think he'll start. There's not one person more that I'd love to score the winner on Sunday than Brennan Johnson, just because of the amount of piss that it would boil in our fan base more than anything else. Like, because I feel like do you know how mental you have to be to? There was a tweet from Mr. Fedora that was essentially predicting that Brennan Johnson would score the winner against Newcastle, and then our fan base would be like, yes, he's the guy, like, he's back. And then he predicted that off the back of that, he'd then go on and have like 4 stinkers, and then he'd show that he's really not good enough. If Brennan Johnson scored the winner on Sunday and just sort of did like the nonchalant sort of like shush that he does kind of when he scored against Aston Villa, that would make me incredibly happy. I would, so I'd go with Johnson. I think that I think he'll start Kudu on the right, especially if Solanke is back, which, I mean, it's guesswork at the moment. I know Carly T's trying to do her best, trying to find Solanke in the training videos and stuff. But yeah, I don't. If Solanke's fit, I'd imagine he'll play through the middle and then Kulusevski on the right. And I think Johnson, especially if it is a bit like that, a bit like kind of hammer and tongs, like both teams going for each other. I do think Johnson could be that guy. And a little Johnson, like back post, little tap in to win the game on Sunday in the last few minutes would be maybe the sweetest thing.
It'd be that Tomo
Saliba air kicking a
1882.
clearance.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
You know who I mean, don't you, James? That Tomo
Oh,
1882 guy.
He's a bell end and a half.
Honestly, if you go onto his Twitter and just search the word Johnson in his tweets,
Is this the guy? He's got like a Kulusevski profile picture.
I don't know what his profile picture is actually.
Oh wait, I'm thinking of someone else actually.
But literally,
What's his name?
at Tomo 1882, and then search
one
his
M?
tweet. No, it's 2.
Oh, he might have blocked me. Thank fuck.
I think it might be me as well.
You follow each other. Oh.
I know. I
Yeah.
follow him to be annoyed. You know when you follow people
he
that
follows
annoy
me.
you.
I think he might have blocked me. I can't find him. Is it? How we spell Tomo? TOMMO.
MMO.
Yeah.
Is it Thomas
Double O.
Arnold?
Right. Hang on.
Oh no,
No,
I think
it's
he
just-
might have blocked. I think he might have blocked.
So it's TOMMO 1882.
Yeah, it is Kulusevski.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I know who. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause I
literally
saw
go
a
on,
tweet from earlier,
search
"Sell
his
up
tweets.
Levy, you cunt. Football is about winning, not profit. I saw that tweet earlier. Yeah.
Search his tweets. So go on his little search bar at the top and just type in Johnson. And
Okay,
honestly,
it's a cesspit.
see, it just goes on and on and on.
Hang on, he averages about fucking hell. Wait, where are we? So 25th of August, he's made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Fuck
8,
me.
9, 10, 11. 11 tweets about Brendan Johnson on the
Called him a
25th.
mong. That's not very nice.
If you keep calling him Brendan Johnson, I'm going to start tweeting about him as well.
Oh, fucking God. He's a fucking state of an individual.
I do
I mean, he's from
see him
Northampton,
pop up
which
quite a
explains a
lot.
lot.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Right, but so James, before we get on to you, like being Arteta on the Arsenal bench, why do you think these people do it? I'm sure there's not one reason, there's multiple reasons, but why? Are they looking for attention? Do they think that by trying to kill the players they should be supporting and be fans of, they think that this is the right approach? Is that
I think what it is, they're like, I think it's probably a theme for a large portion of the fan base, and I think from where we've been, like under like sort of Redknapp and Yol, we've always been sort of like a project and almost there, and then didn't quite work out with AVB, so then we get Poch and go for another project, and it's almost there, and then we go get the winners, and it just goes to absolute shit. And so then we're like, what next? Another project. And I think, and rightly so, a fair chunk of the fan base is just frustrated and sick and tired of projects waiting and going through the processes over and over without getting that end goal, which I do appreciate. But also, I think it says a lot about someone's, what should I say, life outside, which is non-existent. So that they just get this pent up on Twitter every evening, every match day, going on about the same players. Just a few sad existences, really.
Yeah, but what do they think life is? Isn't life just a whole series of different projects that happen?
Life's only
intrinsically throughout. Yeah, but I don't believe that these people go to the games.
Yeah,
I think that no.
Oh, very armchair.
Yeah.
If they did go to the games, then more people would have turned round on the stuff like the Save Our Seniors thing.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
someone.
whenever that's happened, it's sort of like more people looking around going, "What is everybody actually doing? What are they doing?"
That's the thing. I heard people saying that. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm right.
I think it's
the real fans are.
I do think it's an attention thing. A lot of it. Like I do think people kind of thrive in that negativity, and I also think that a lot of it comes from the fact that we're about to play Arsenal, and I think people look at Arsenal. It's like, you know how sort of Man United fans have become obviously very bitter about the fact that Liverpool and Man City have totally eclipsed them. I think a lot of Spurs fans are living in the bubble that, you know, we should either be where Arsenal are, or, you know, kind of, obviously I don't want to see Arsenal win the league. It makes me sick to my stomach, but I think a lot of people are even more frustrated because they're doing so well, and I think they're almost projecting that onto Tottenham a bit, and that's why this game's kind of come at almost a bad time, really. But again, when you look, Arsenal were a good lesson for us to kind of realise that you do have to go through this. And I was going to say, I was about to say that you have to go through like this shit to get to where they are. We're in a much better place than when they were when they kind of started this project, and we're not even anywhere near the shit. We might have some shit performances, and it might be up and down at points, but you have to learn from them a little bit, that you do have to, you know. And I wish I could kind of try and find 3 different words here, but almost trust the process a bit and just kind of like, you know, go through that to get to where they are right now. So I do think there's a bit of that in it as well. But I think a lot of it is, especially the people on social media, like, I think a lot of it is for attention a lot of the time. And I think it does, like you said, it kind of reflects poorly on what is actually going on in their life. I think they're kind of projecting that into this void of negativity.
Well, after listening to Jaffin, I'm so happy that trust the process wasn't something that Arteta came up with, but it was from Bill Walsh. And cheers, James Alcott, for that, because
yeah, it was actually, wasn't it? Yeah,
so happy, because trusting the process is so true, because a process takes time. You know, it's not like in 2 seconds we're going to be done. That's the process. That's not how it works. That's not how life works. There's a reason we live for about 80 to 90 years, right? It takes quite a bit of time to lead up to something, and then you get disappointed, and then off you go again. And so I don't seem to get it. I know it's been done to death. That, yeah, you know, Arteta was like, what, 8th, 5th, 2nd. People are forgetting that they bottled the league. It's not me. None of that. It's like, it's really annoying me that no one seems to talk about that, but they still talk about us bottling against Leicester. That bothers me. But yeah, these people who just want to go on and on. Anyway, James, over to you, mate. You're Arteta, and
unlucky, mate.
You've
God. Where's the shotgun?
Are you bringing on? What are you doing?
I've got quite a few injuries. This is the thing. There's not much depth to their squad, as I think a lot of people believe. Especially like the Levy out, fucking Wankfesters. There's not much depth there, especially in the forward line. There's not a great deal. I think the one player who could do damage coming off the bench would be Martinelli. And the reason I think that is just if we don't have Van der Ven and we just have one of those odd little brainless blips, he's off in behind and no one's catching up with him. Romero not getting near him, Dragusin, whoever's on the pitch isn't getting near him, just on pace. Whether he can actually finish his dinner, that's a different question. He takes a few notes out of Hannah's book on that one. But yeah.
The thing is, I'd rather they start Martinelli instead of Trossard. Because I don't actually know.
I'd rather they start Trossard.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I mean. Yeah, so Trossard coming off the bench is a problem.
Yeah.
But that's what I tried to say, but I worded it completely back to front.
What about Sterling, though?
Oh, I forgot about him.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know he's
I
scoring.
reckon he'll start.
He's scoring.
I think he'll start Sterling on the left.
He'll score first, I reckon, in the game.
Yeah.
He always scores against us. He fucking loves it.
Yeah. He'll score first in like the 6th minute or something. That's how I can see it, but then we'll go on to batter them.
Well, but, I'm looking at the Arsenal bench against Villa, right? So Nelson's gone, Calafiori's injured, Ramsdale's gone, and Nketiah's gone. Jorginho's looking up Ben up and down. Other than that, you're right. They don't have much depth. Right, they've got Sterling. Fair enough. I don't know. Is he going to be on it? Maybe.
Doesn't play just for Chelsea.
No,
that's
the
the
thing,
thing.
isn't it?
So he's not match fitness, but don't know.
I reckon he'll definitely have an impact and something to say in the game.
Yeah,
like it's just what's going to happen. But
all the build-up will be around him, won't it, as well? Like the pre-match build-up and everything will be...
Exactly.
What's
It's the same
Sterling
little
do?
fucking Chelsea-Arsenal handhold kissing.
Yeah.
They
Like
literally
history,
sort each other
isn't
out, don't they, all the time?
Yeah, Chelsea are basically paying Arsenal to play Sterling. Like when you look at the wages that they're still paying for Sterling and kind of have offset, are now paying Sancho. They're essentially paying Arsenal for Sterling. It's fucking mental.
You know what it is? It reminds me of like a three-way cuck dynamic where you've got two cucks. So you're like, oh no, you take it. Oh no, you take it. Oh no, we like,
Yeah.
we like you. Let's kiss. It's just like, oh, it does my head in. I think there was a clip of them like a few years ago. I think it was like a FA Cup final or semi-final, and they both started chanting like "Stand up if you hate Tottenham" together. I'm like, how fucking sad must you be?
It's weird, because when at Chelsea as well, when it's Arsenal at Stamford Bridge, at the beginning when they do the liquidator, they all chant, "We hate Tottenham." No, is it "We hate Tottenham" or "Fuck off Tottenham"? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's fuck
We
off
hate Tottenham,
yeah.
I think.
All
And
we
then
hate it, yeah,
obviously the
Tottenham.
Chelsea fans all go Chelsea, and then the Arsenal fans all go Arsenal, but they all chant "Fuck off Tottenham," and then
Yeah.
they're
Just fucking kiss already, do you know what I mean?
Get a room.
And there was the other season, wasn't there? Was it? It was the same one. Arsenal bottled top four, but Chelsea were like on this unbelievable run, but they completely changed their 11 when Arsenal turned up.
Yeah.
And obviously it probably wasn't anything to do with it, but everyone's just thinking they're just doing this just to help Arsenal get top four over Tottenham.
Yeah. And I remember Aspilicueta in that game gave away like the dodgiest penalty that was just so like.
Yeah.
And then didn't the first goal for Nketiah come from like a really bad back pass or something as well?
Yeah.
It was
It's
something
like
ridiculous. Yeah.
They're not beating the allegations.
Ben, who would you start? Would you start Bissouma or Bentancur?
Bissouma, I think. I think there's a case
Is
to
he
start
injured?
Bentancur as well as. Yeah, that's a good point. He got subbed off for Marley. I've just seen a thing on Twitter saying that he's going to be assessed, but I don't know what source that is even from. But that would be a big loss, I think, with the way that he's playing at the moment. But I would, if they were both fit, I'd play Bissouma there, because my biggest gripe with Bissouma is that these are the games where I actually really trust him to have a good one, and I think that he always turns up in the bigger games and always performs really well. But I think that kind of almost comes down to like his the mentality.
Ego.
My issue is always with his mentality. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like, just do that against Brentford as well. Like, just if you were like that against, because obviously he was amazing at the Emirates last year.
That's what I was going to say, right? He was outstanding in that game.
Yeah,
And the
he?
Man United game, second game of the season, he was. I think
Exactly.
he got man of the match, didn't he?
Yeah, he was superb. And like these big games, it's like, oh, please just do that against like Brentford and Everton. Obviously, he did it against Everton early in the season, but you know what I mean. Like, I do think I'd start Basuma. I think it's hard to pick then who partners him, or obviously who plays kind of as that 8, whether it's Sarr or Bentancur. I think that's a really tough one. Bentancur probably gives you that bit more control, but I think Sarr obviously gives you those the sort of the legs and the defense in defensive transition, that bit of energy as well.
If they have a midfield, who's their midfield going to be? It's going to be Jorginho, who can't run anyway.
Partey
as well, I'm assuming.
So you might as well go for Bentancur. You're not going to need that extra energy, are you? There's not going
Is
to
there
have
an
anyone...
argument to go? I was thinking this the other day. Is there an argument to go exactly what he did against Everton and go for Kulusevski and Madison there?
That's what I was thinking.
Just fucking kamikaze.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah,
because I do think that Kulusevski. I made a TikTok about this just before I came on here about Madison, and I was thinking about like, I feel like Madison. I feel like he started the season quite well, but I feel like he needs a moment. And like when you think back to like him in the game, like what you just said about Basuma, about how well he played at the Emirates, and Madison played really well in that game as well. Kind of took the game by the scruff of the neck. Obviously got both.
He nearly didn't. He nearly threw the game away.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but like he obviously got both the assists for Sonny's goals and played really well. I feel like obviously the kind of chat about Madison has already been done, so in terms of what's happened over the last year. But I feel like what he really needs is a moment. It doesn't have to be in the Arsenal game. It can be against Brentford next weekend or whoever, just to be like a last minute winner or like a goal from outside the box again or something. But a performance in the derby on Sunday to sort of be like, because he did an interview today where he was talking about like, we really want to take the bragging rights home for the fans and all that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, right, go and show us. And I do think he's been playing well, to be fair. But I think Kulusevski in the middle against Partey and Jorginho, I think he's got that ability to bully them. I do think that, and I think there's an argument to be like, I do. Obviously, it leaves us because again, the thing that they are good at, the thing they don't need Odegaard for, and the thing they don't need Rice for, is that ability to switch on us like they did last season, where they played that ball over the top to Saka, he gets in behind and scores. They don't need those two players for that, so that is a worry. And again, like we were saying, if they start Sterling or start Martinelli, who've got the pace in behind on the other side as well, that's a worry if we're going to go and just try and play the game in their half and really, really take it to them, which we're going to do anyway, going to try and do anyway, regardless of whether he goes for 2 10s or not. But I think, speaking to a few of my Arsenal mates, I think they are quite worried about the idea of Kulusevski playing in the middle, like and taking on like Partey and Jorginho. So, but I think it will probably. I don't think he'll do that. So I think it'll probably be Bentancur or Sarr. But I think it's a really tough one. But I think, like you said, it might be if we want to just go out there and try and control the game. I remember the midfield choice last season at home. He went for Højbjerg and Bentancur, didn't he? And it just was like, oh god, like what?
Absolute car crash.
Yeah, it just did not work. So I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about what. I think it will. If Basuma's fit, I do think it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Maybe he might start Sarr. Maybe
I think
maybe he might start Sarr to support one of the flanks. Just like inside left or right, probably right.
So just cover ground.
Yeah, because that is what. If I'm Arteta and I'm so original, then that's what I'm going to do. Like just spray it out because that's where the gaps are, guys. Yeah. So, and if I'm Andrew is original, he's going to see it, and that's what I would do. You need some legs in there. So at the beginning of this conversation, I was thinking, well, we can bring on Sarr for the second half, but maybe he starts with him, and then once we've got the control, then Bentancur will come on and control it.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know, Ben. That's what we brought you on the show for. And now you're asking us. You sort of like, I don't know what we're doing here.
I'm still been thinking about it myself. Like, I'm trying to. I hate the build up to these games because you just think it over in your head like so much of just like, well, what if he does this or what if he does that or what if he like, because that midfield battle is going to be. I think if it was one of them where our team selection becomes a lot more simple if they actually have their best team. Funnily enough, like I think it becomes like, okay, you probably just go with Basuma and Sarr in there if they've got Rice and Odegaard. But now it's like the onus is a bit more on us. It's like, okay, what do we do here? Like how do we kind of change the sort of dynamic? I don't know, but yeah, if we were in this, being in the ground at 1:00 or whenever team news comes out now, it's a bit before now, isn't it? And you see that lineup and it's like Kulusevski, obviously hopefully Solanke's fit and hopefully Van der Ven's fit first and foremost. But if you see Kulusevski and Maddison playing in those two tens and Basuma behind, do you think you'd feel more excited or do you think you'd feel more nervous? Because I think I'd be like, fuck it, let's just go. Why not? Let's go for it and see what happens.
That's it. But you've got to go for it, haven't you? And I think this is probably the ultimate like middle finger to all the people who are saying, and just no tactics or no plan B. Like when you've got like two very different midfield options,
Yeah.
it can give you completely different games. And I think that's sort of a very good problem we can cause for oppositions.
Yeah.
And
that's what I loved about that Everton game. That's what I loved about that Everton game, because I think, again, not that this is Arsenal, but I feel like that's almost in a way like, and just kind of that's a blueprint now that we can kind of use against those teams that are going to sit in against us and try and make it difficult, and have the two wingers wide and high and Odebear and Johnson to sort of like pin them back, and then allow Kulu and Maddison to kind of do their thing in that sort of space. Because a lot of fans, I feel like, were kind of asking for that last season. It's like, we want to see Kulusevski and Maddison together there, because he'd quite often make that change at half time or like 60 minutes in, where he'd take off one of, either like he'd bring Johnson on and then keep Kulu on as well, and then move him back, and then we'd see them, Maddison and Kulusevski together, and it would be quite exciting as a change up, like in the middle of the game. But obviously we never really saw it from the start, I don't think, until the Everton game. So I think that's what, like you said, in terms of like the doubters saying that Ange doesn't adapt and all these kind of things, I think he's almost found like, okay, well that works, so I'm gonna do that again. So I feel like he's almost got a bit of a blueprint there now.
Right. So for anyone, thanks for this segue right into this bit here. The last few minutes, what I've done is, in fact, before I tell you that, if you've got any doubts as to whether or not Ange can tweak, we're talking about a nearly 60-year-old guy who has been in football for longer than most of you have known what Twitter is. What I want you to do is literally just go into Google, right, if you can, and write down Leicester versus Tottenham. Click on the Google thing, click on the lineups, then search for Tottenham versus Everton. Again, click on the Google link and then click on the lineups, and do the same thing for Newcastle versus Tottenham, and take a look at the midfield. For each one, I've got all three of them on my screens here, all completely different, and each game was different. Yeah, you can say that against Leicester it was teething problems because, you know, we're just getting back into the league, I mean into the season. Leicester has been promoted, whatever. But each one of those games, if you look back on them, we play differently. Yeah. And so this nonsense that he doesn't know how to tweak and that it's just one way and that's it, bullshit.
Yeah, I find it infuriating, that narrative.
So if you take a look, so Tottenham versus Everton, we had Kulusevski, Basuma and Maddison. Yeah. Is that the starting lineup that we had? Yeah.
Yeah, and then Odebear and Johnson on the wings and Son up top.
Yeah. Do you think... don't know. Do you think he's going to do that, or do you think he's going to go with Sarr maybe? And if Sarr is in there, is it for Kulusevski?
I think it's for Johnson, and then Kudu goes out wide. I think if everyone's fit, that front six, the midfield three and front three, I think it'll be Basuma, Sarr, Maddison, Kulusevski, Solanke, Son. I think if Solanke is fit,
that's all right.
Yeah, I think it's more than all right.
Well, it's a better front six than what they're going to have if Odegaard, well, Rice is definitely out. They've got isn't it a better front six than theirs? Let's see what theirs was against Arsenal. Yeah, it's a better front six.
We got Saka, Havertz, Trossard.
You've got a...
We're entering combined 11 territory here now, aren't we?
Fuck, we are.
We're dipping the toe into combined 11. The thing is with combined 11s, it's like it's got to be done, isn't it? I in the Fighting Cock group chat earlier, Flav sent a couple of screenshots in that he'd been texted from various producers of stuff that he's doing for, being like, "Can you send us a Arsenal versus Spurs combined 11?" It's just like, I am sick to the back teeth of doing fucking Arsenal Spurs combined 11s, because he just gets all of the heat, kind of like being the Spurs guy that kind of does that like stuff. It's just like,
yep. But with Flav, mate, when he's like, it's going to be on Sky, isn't he? So but that's when he's at his best, when he's thrust into it, and you see his face change.
Yeah.
When he's like,
it's like in a flow state, like it's kind of like just the fight or flight thing of just like, right, I'm in hate Arsenal mode, which is in all the time, obviously, but like it's he wouldn't mind me saying this. He just replied back with no worries, and just went Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Doggy, Basuma, Sarr, Maddison, Kulusevski, Solanke, and Son. And the guy was like, "What? All Spurs?" He was like, "Yep,
I love it."
Yeah.
No, that's what he doesn't hold back. Like when he feels like he's being a victim, that's it. Fuck you. I'm taking you all out. That's it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that on it's on Saturday, I think. Yeah. But
I think so.
should we do predictions? Ben, you can go last. Josh, over to you, mate. James, can you write them out on WhatsApp and put Ben's one there as well, so we can?
I really want. It's annoying because I think Arsenal will win, but I want to predict Tottenham will win. I'm
Well,
gonna say 2-1 Tottenham.
1 minute.
I'm gonna say 2-1 Tottenham.
1 minute. 1 minute. If you think Arsenal are going to win, you should say that first. Why?
Yep.
Why?
Why?
What came over you just now to say that? Is it just because they seem to have
PTSD.
one? Right. Fair enough. Yeah.
PTSD. Being a Spurs fan all my life, I know not to trust the hope in my body, but I'll go Tottenham 2-1. Normally I go for a clean sheet, but not today. Yeah, I'll go for that.
James,
If we normally beat them, it's usually 2-1 anyway.
James,
Safe
you there?
answer. Safe bet. Yeah, I think they will score first. I can just sort of see it happening. And it'll be a bit of a shitty goal, to be honest. That's how I kind of see it.
It'll be on the break, won't it? It'll be one of those. Yeah.
On the break, it'll be a bit like, do you remember Van der Ven's disallowed one last season?
Yeah,
Oh.
just bobbly.
Just absolute bollocks that he got disallowed. It'll be like that kind of goal, I think. That's what I can see. But then I think
like Gabriel or someone like that. I can sort of.
Some fucking weasel no one cares about.
I mean, that's the whole squad, isn't it? So that's the issue. So yeah, I could see them taking the lead, but then I could see this just switching on and gunning for it. So I think last season, like, we played so well against them in both games, and how we didn't get more than a point out of the two fixtures, I'll never understand.
I'll tell you what, I'd love a Dragoshin goal.
Oh yeah.
If he plays.
Oh yeah, if Van der Ven's injured, then he will play, won't he?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just like a towering header from a corner.
I was going to say like a bullet header. I can picture him doing it right now, like a bullet header.
Then he takes his hairband out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the same, but I think it'd be that little bit more satisfying if it was Romero, just because you know how much he'd absolutely fucking love it. Like
and Arsenal fans hate him because
badge.
he always gets compared to Saliba.
yeah, he's just there, just like trying to pull the badge off his shirt on his chest and like smacking everyone on the head. You know how like Van der Vaart, like when I remember that goal, well, one at the Emirates and also at White Hart Lane, where the 3-3 game where he ran in front of the away end, just like shushing them and just like grabbing the bat, like something like that would be lovely.
Wasn't when someone scores for Tottenham? I swear Romero probably just beats the fuck out of them, doesn't he? It's like
I think he started kicking someone last season. It might have been
he was kicking
Richarlison
someone.
on the arse.
There was someone as well. He was probably slapping the back of his head as well, just whacking him.
I remember there was a last game of the season where Emerson Royale went down injured after doing that step over, and Romero was just kicking him on the floor, just like that clip that just sort of defined like those two.
So James, what's your prediction?
Ooh. Yeah,
And you forgot to write out what's his names.
I've got a fucking thing saved here. All right, pipe down in the corner. Yeah, back in your box. I'll go 3-1 win for Tottenham.
I'll go, and then Ben, you can go last. I've got a feeling that they're gonna probably get down our right hand side, or down their right hand side. Yeah, no, down Udogi's side. Saka will. Yeah, I've got a feeling that Saka will score one of those typical goals that he does. They're all going to stand celebration. Up. No, they're not going to do. I don't think so. I think he's just going to raise his hands up, shake his head a bit like he does, like FIFA. And then in the second half, we're going to wallop them. I think we're going to get 4 goals.
Fuck me.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's what I really believe that. Because you can try and be all as unoriginal as you want. I've got your number. I can see Postecoglou doing that and just saying to his players, try and cover these areas. Do it. I was going to say try. He's going to say do it. But he's going to rile them up in the second half. And we're going to win. We're going to win. I'm not. It's the first time in a long time I'm not bothered. I probably will be really bothered the day before.
Yeah.
I've got mates coming round there from England, and what they're going to do. We had a shisha together this week, and I told them that if we lose, so I hope we don't, instead of filling it with water, we'll fill it with brandy, and they'll put weed in the head. It's the Sunday. I got Monday's the next day, which isn't a good idea. So we have to win.
Are you advocating drugs?
Yeah. No, of course not. I'm advocating brandy and weed in a shisha. But I don't know. I've just got this feeling that we're gonna thrash him, and it'll be one of those games that unites everyone, and we need that. We need this. We can't have another loss, even though for me Newcastle, it was a loss, but we played well. Not the final ball, but the build-up play was good. It was just that, But we need this, and the players are hungry for it as well, because to go through that 2-week period and know that they've got this, it's itching at them. That's why I believe that, along with what Ange will do and what he'll say to him, what the coaching staff are doing this whole week. I know a lot of them have been away, but let's see how it goes. Right, Ben, over to you, mate, and we'll close up.
I think I was actually thinking about when I said about Romero scoring the goal. I'd actually love Porro. Imagine if Porro scored, because he would love it as well, wouldn't he?
Oh,
yeah.
Like a Porro
The
sort of like
thunder cunt.
Yeah, like one of the
He'd be in
long
the
shots that he's
stands.
been. Yeah, he would. Yeah, like he was in the stands for that Liverpool goal that wasn't even his, where he crossed it in and took his top off. One of those. I think he had 6 shots against Newcastle, all from outside the box. So if one of those wants to make its way into the top corner against Arsenal, that would be just incredible. I will go with 2-1 Spurs. I feel quite calm going into this, and I feel quite quietly confident. It would be amazing if, like you said, 3 or 4, and it's like this is the game where all of what a bit like Everton actually, kind of where I know Everton were fucking terrible, but like Newcastle, where you can see it all there, but you're just waiting for it to like click. If it clicked against Arsenal in that final third, like especially with Solanke back as well, hopefully.
I was saying in that Everton game, I believe if Solanke played, we score 4 in that game, because everything was made for an out. And all the chances we were creating, the crosses going in the box, etc., were made for an out-and-out striker.
Yeah,
like
by that
they were
logic,
made.
If Solanke played, we would have got 8, wouldn't we? Like, imagine if he did play, we'd have had a fucking field.
Oh no, sorry, I meant against Newcastle.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, I agree. I do agree. I think he would have. I think he would have scored. I think he was, like you said, with the talking about Newcastle, like with the cutbacks and stuff like that, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously there's that freeze frame, isn't there, of Brennan Johnson putting that ball across the box, and everyone's saying, "Why is he not lifting his head up?"
Sweet.
He's literally the only person in that picture doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, Son's ran to the edge of the box and thought, "Fuck it, I'm going to stop here." Yeah. Like, why is he not busting a gut? He knows where the ball's going to go. He's been doing it in training all fucking week. What's he expecting?
Yeah, Johnson's been doing the training, right? As obviously evident from the Ryan Mason fucking clip that was going around. I think 2-1. I'm gonna speak into existence that Brennan Johnson's going to score a late winner, and that will be enough to feed families, I think, for the next. Brennan Johnson last minute winner in the North London derby, where he doesn't even really.
He doesn't go nuts.
Yeah,
he does
who
was it against? Was it the Brentford one where he just it was just shrugging his shoulders sort of thing, and then
even Villa as well.
He was just mimicking Mope, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh no, that was the that was Brighton.
Was it Brighton? Yeah, where he didn't really celebrate, and then even Villa, he sort of did a bit of a knee slide, but he was kind of just sort of shushing the Villa fans.
The Brighton one was when he sort of just asked the matey behind him to come and celebrate with him. He was just did a little shush and then just. He didn't do much of it, did he? He was just a bit cold with it, basically. The Brighton
game was almost the peak of the clog that he was getting. I feel like that around that time was when he was really getting the most. Maybe other than now.
Because didn't Werner set him up as well? I think
it was either Werner set him up against Brentford. I think it was Son for Brighton. But kind of goal where Johnson just arrives late at the back post. And like you said, like we were saying about Romero and Porro, if they go mental, I would, if Brennan Johnson scored the last minute winner on North London derby and just sort of was shrugged it, not bothered, have that. That would feed families. So I'm gonna
know what they'll be like? He's meant to be he's just scored against Arsenal. He's not fucking celebrating either. Get him out. He's shit.
Yeah, that would. The piss that it would boil would be worth it so much. I would love it.
Exactly. So 2 things. Hannah says, "Hey Ben," and not to sound like Spooky, I love him, loads. Yeah, he's amazing. We need this galvanization. We need this win. We need to bring everyone together. And under Ange, we've got a manager where if we put on the right kind of performance and spank them, whether it's for one half or two, then what this could do is set precedent in the squad, and it could put our noses in joint, and we go on a run. Yeah. I wouldn't mind a 10-12 game run right now. You know, we've got a lot of games coming up, and Christmas is insane as well. And I think that would be the kind of thing that sets us apart and sort of spearheads us into top fours. I think we will finish fourth. We'll see, but yeah, we need that top four position, and I think that's it. Anything else, Ben? Where can we? Well, we know where we can find you, but where can everyone else find you?
YouTube, TikTok. Just search my name. You'll be able to find me. Twitter as well.
You're not doing the Michael Jackson impersonating?
No, that was thankfully. I'd like to think now, after a few videos doing decent numbers, that the algorithm has is deciding to push my content rather than the UK's #1 Michael Jackson impersonator when you search my name. So hopefully if you do search my name, that's what comes up. If not, you can just find my links on my Twitter and stuff. But yeah, hop over there. Darren and doing podcast as well.
Yeah, listen to that all the time. I love Will. I love his laugh, by the way.
His
when he
laugh,
laughs, yeah.
The video's even better because it's just like his little cheeks. It's just brings me joy. He's on holiday at the moment, actually. So
yeah, I know. Seb's great as well, by the way.
He is really good. Yeah. So
Hannah was the one who put us in. Like she said, "Oh, we got to get Seb on." I said, "Who's Seb?" And she said, "Does he live with you?" Was she talking rubbish? But,
lives with me. No, he doesn't live with me.
Isn't that what she said, guys, on the group? You can pull her up on that later.
But we live near each other, but he doesn't live with me. But
it's in her mind. It's fine.
Seb's great.
Yeah, so I think we'll get him on as well. Nice. Mate, it's been lovely. Say goodbye.
Absolute pleasure. Yeah, thanks, guys. I really enjoyed that.
Good. James.
Adios.
Josh.
Goodbye. It's been a pleasure. I love you all.
Goodbye from me.
Give us 5 stars.
Oh yeah, do you want to do your Hannah thing?
Please.
In fact, Ben, can you ask people to give us a rating and a review?
Yeah.
On Spotify and Apple.
Yeah, make sure you leave a rating and review on Spotify and Apple. 5 stars preferably would be lovely. Because otherwise, it just really helps. It just really helps.
There'll be no more Barclays Men videos on Twitter.
Exactly. If you rate Hotspur Way Podcast 5 stars for world peace.
And listen to Daring and Doing, which is a lot of fun. All right, guys, see you later. Bye.